I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands where we meet this evening. I would also like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And I'm just going to let you know how things will run this evening. I'm going to introduce the presenters that will be talking to you tonight. So first of all, maybe you can just give a wave. We've got Josh Fergus, who's our CEO. We've got Anita Mitchell, who's our Manager of Client Services. We have Brenna McIntyre, who's the Manager of Programs and Services. And we've also got our special guest from Box Hill Institute, Jane Marnie. Hello, Jane. And my name's Georgia Tracy. I'm the Marketing and Fundraising Manager. So the program for tonight is that I will give you a little bit of background about Kevin Heinze Grow, the organisation. Then Josh will talk to you about the diverse goals of our participants, and he'll also tell you a little bit about our staff and how we work with the NDIS. Then we'll hear from Anita, who's going to do a deep dive into our Grow programs. So she'll give you the sort of nuts and bolts details about how that operates. And she'll talk to you also about some of the additional programs that we run. And then we'll have the presentation from Jane about TAFE. Then we'll go to Brenna, who will talk to you about our clinical services that we have on site and some of our other programs as well. Then we'll go back to Josh, who's going to give you just a brief look at Grow Glen Ira, one of our other programs, and then back to Anita to take you through the next steps of application and how to get more information. And then we're going to have a short video, which I'm quite excited about. It's we've done 2 short videos, which are like a virtual tour of each of our sites. So that should be a little bit of fun. And then we'll wrap up with questions right at the end, if that's okay. And if people don't feel comfortable talking, that's fine. You can just write your question into the chat. And certainly, if you'd like to contact us afterwards, we'll let you know how to do that as well. That's just some more photos of us. If you couldn't see us very well on the MS Teams screen. Okay, so in terms of the history of Kevin Heinze Grow as an organisation, we started in 1979 and we were set up by Kevin Heinze in conjunction with the local Kiwanis, which is a service club. Back in 1979, the Kiwanis Club and Kevin Heinze set up the organisation originally as a place where children with disabilities could discover the benefits of gardening. So some 43 years later, we have 56 staff, we have over 100 participants, and we have therapeutic programs for people of all ages. And we also have clinical services. So we have the 2 sites. We have the Weatherby Road Doncaster site and the site at Peppertree Place, which is on the corner of Sydney Road and Bell Street in Coburg. We've been at the Coburg site for around 3 years now, and the photograph that you can see there is actually of the cafe, which is sort of nestled in the middle of the site. And you'll hear more about the cafe program shortly. So the guiding vision for Kevin Heinze is health and well-being through connection to nature and community. So our Grow model describes the way that nature, gardening and plants are not just integrated into our programs, but how they are really the basis for almost all of our activities. And the idea that being active in nature and participating in these activities really brings enormous benefits to people's health and well-being. And the other connection is a community connection. And this is about creating a very important sense of belonging for people, but also providing a space where people feel comfortable enough to start developing social skills and confidence. And this might start off as building relationships with our trainers and clinicians, but also with each other. And what we see is that over time, people develop the skills and confidence to take what they've learned at Kevin Heinze Grow out into the broader community. And our mission to deliver experiential learning and positive personal development. So this is really how we go about achieving our vision. And our participants learn and develop through practical, hands-on experiences and meaningful endeavour. So I'm just going to hand you over now to Josh to talk a little bit about the participants that we work with, and he'll also go on to talk a little bit about the NDIS. So over to you, Josh.
Thanks, Georgia. Hi, everyone. I'm Josh Fergus. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at Kevin Heinze Grow. I suppose one of the keys when we think about participants at Kevin Heinze Grow is really that people come to us for a variety of reasons, but at the centre of that is a real desire for what is unique about what we can offer. We are not what I would consider a day program. We're certainly not a generic or standard disability program. We are a program that's very much embedded in our garden environment, and so for participants and potential participants considering coming to Kevin Heinze Grow, that has to be a key consideration. You've got to want to spend time in nature and spend time in the garden. However that works for the individual, that's a key part of what we do. People will come to KHG with a variety of goals. They might be social, they might be about connecting with other people or building confidence. It might be about building conversational skills. It might be recreational. It might be to be somewhere and have fun and enjoy being in a community environment, or enjoy the fun aspects of gardening and being in a garden. It might be to develop independent living skills, to develop skills in working with other people. It might be more functional in terms of developing fine or gross motor skills. We assist with managing emotions and behaviour using the peaceful and calm environment of our garden setting and harnessing therapeutic horticulture principles to do so. Our programs are evidence-based, and we try and update our understanding of the evidence base on a regular basis. We actually have a PhD student at the moment conducting a long-term evaluation of our core program and the benefits in particular to participants with autism, which we're really excited about. And in addition, we have extension programs which can provide education pathways, vocational pathways, and other forms of meaningful activity. And we'll speak to some of those programs over the course of this evening. We really are unique in the disability landscape in Melbourne, and indeed beyond. There are some organisations in the United Kingdom which use therapeutic horticulture and take a similar approach, but really in Melbourne there are programs and disability services that use nature in different ways, but we are really the only service which uses therapeutic horticulture principles in the way that we do, and we use it day in and day out through all our programs. We're also the only program which has such a multidisciplinary approach. My team have a variety of backgrounds, and we'll talk to you about some of those tonight, particularly when we get to our clinical services section. The majority of our services now are delivered through the National Disability Insurance Scheme, and if you haven't applied for the NDIS yet, we can assist you with some advice. You'll need to get some specialist reports done and gather information. We can potentially point you in the direction of some of those things. We are a registered service provider under a range of categories, in particular core services and capacity building, and we can talk to you about the specific line items you'll need to have in your plan to access our services. People are also able to pay for KHG services privately, because although we are a charity, these things cost significant amounts of money to run. We invest a lot in our staff, and donations and such only go so far. We do maintain significant grounds for the benefits of our participants, and really the investment in our staff is key. When you're a participant at KHG, you'll experience some of the best staff, I believe, that the disability sector in Melbourne has to offer. Anita's now going to go through a little bit about our general service details, how things work, and our core Grow program, and I'll be back to speak to you a little bit later about one of our specific programs.
Hello everybody. A few more people have joined us since the beginning. I'm Anita Mitchell, Manager of Client Services. I think the most important thing about the work that we do with our participants is that we work incredibly closely with each and every one of them. We like to ensure that the program that each participant has is individualised. So although we have a set program, on any given day, participants will all be participating in a number of different activities. It's very important to us that the programs that we deliver are closely aligned to the individual's NDIS goals as well. As Josh said, we deliberately don't call ourselves a day centre because we run a therapeutic horticulture program, and every activity is designed to promote a participant's learning and development and to work to their individual goals. We work very closely with our families to ensure that we have an understanding of the needs of our participants. For example, if a participant has an individual support worker, that support worker will meet their participant on their arrival at the centre in the morning. They'll have a chat to whoever drops them off, find out what's been going on so that we have a better idea of where that participant is for the day. Families are very much part of the team involved in our programs at Kevin Heinze. The other very important person in many participants' lives as they meander through the NDIS, I guess, are the support coordinators. We work very closely with support coordinators because that way we can ensure that a participant gets the most value out of their NDIS plans. We're very aware that we might not be the only service that a participant uses, and it's very important to us that the funding provided to a participant is used wisely. And thus the support coordinator, I suppose, forms the sort of the fourth part of the support that we offer to our participants. We might go on to the next slide, GT. Thank you very much. I thought I'd just give you a bit of a snapshot about a typical day in our Grow program. The Grow program, Gardening for Recreation, Occupation and Wellbeing, is the centre of everything that we do. It is what we also call our core program, and as you can see, it is in the garden. A typical day in our Grow program begins at around about 9 o'clock. Participants arrive, they settle in, have time to catch up with their friends, have time to catch up with staff. This is actually a really important part of the day because it's here that relationships are fostered, social skills developed, communication skills engaged, and participants then feel very settled before the day gets underway. At 9:30, we move into a morning meeting where all of the support staff, so at about 9:30, we have our morning meeting where everyone is involved, finding out what's going on for the day. The senior trainer for the day will go through what's planned for the day, remind people where they have to be, if there are individual sessions planned, if there are clinical sessions planned. Everything's up on a whiteboard so that participants have something to refer to during the day. After that, we move into what we call our morning duties, and every participant and every staff member for that matter is involved in some sort of chores around the site, inside, outside, some of those independent living skills that Josh was talking about, kitchen duties. We even have participants vacuuming. So if your family members don't vacuum at home, this is a really good opportunity for them to learn. Just wish that mine did at home as well. Again, it's a very, very important part of skill development for our participants. Morning tea, everybody gathers together outside wherever possible for about a 20-minute break. But by 11 o'clock, participants and staff are moving on to what's our first major session for the day. This varies every day. It could be a big ticket item such as garden maintenance, nursery maintenance, composting, or it can be some of the very smaller but equally important tasks of potting up, propagating, weeding, and other various garden duties. Again, lunch, everybody sits together. Participants need to bring their lunch with them to either site. There's no capacity to leave the site once a participant arrives for the day. Again, a very valuable time as those relationships continue to be developed. Staff get to know all participants so that even if a participant has an individual support worker, they will also know many other members of staff. Staff are always on hand during morning tea and lunch to provide supervision or assistance as needed. After lunch, there's another session with a different activity from the morning, and then we start to pack up again around about 2:30. Our day finishes at 3. At our Coburg site, we also have a cafe program. This is currently quite a limited program. We limit it to 4 participants per day because we have a small commercial kitchen. The cafe program at Coburg is actually only open to participants who can work independently in a group. So participants who require one-to-one support, the cafe program is not suitable. Basic cooking skills are the focus of that program at the moment, with some customer service, barista skills and front of house skills thrown in for those who want to develop those. Thanks, GT. Just some of the nitty-gritty details. As we mentioned, we have both sites, Doncaster and Coburg. Coburg is a slightly smaller site, slightly less busy. But that's where the commercial kitchen and cafe are located. Participants can attend from 2 hours. So some of our specialist courses that will be talked about later are only 2 hours. They can attend from 2 hours up to 34 hours per week. We're open 50 weeks of the year. It's probably important at this stage to note we're not a school. We don't consider ourselves to be a school, so we don't run 2 school terms. Of course, we acknowledge that families do like to go away on holidays, and we can always work that into any of the programs. All ages and abilities are welcome to apply. We have participants who work in small groups with a staff to participant ratio of 1:3, and we have many participants who require one-to-one support. We can provide some individual support workers, or participants can attend with their own support workers if they prefer to. Our day runs from 9 to 3 on Monday to Friday, and our Saturday morning program at both sites is available from 8:30 till 12:30. It is vital to consider whether your participant is interested in gardening, as Josh said. It's very important that they like being outside. Most of our activities are outside 4 seasons of the year. I think I mentioned before that we do have a program, and our program is very solid, but it's also incredibly flexible. And we can design an individual participant's program according to their needs and their goals. And we pride ourselves on spending quite a lot of time to do that. We are also fortunate enough to have a small number of tertiary students from social work programs and occupational therapy programs from various universities around Melbourne doing their placements with us. And they, along with our volunteers, also support our program delivery in a variety of different ways. Alongside our core program, we have a few specialist courses. I think that's on the next slide, GT. These are usually funded under capacity building skills development, although they can come out of core funding as well. Different courses run every day, so we don't run all of these courses every day, on each day. And some of them are also run after hours. You can see the different courses that we have here. Literacy, social skills, we have an art class, a Let's Get Physical program. Our Let's Get Physical program is run by our occupational therapist. Social skills is run by our OT as well as one of our speech therapists. So it's very important to us to ensure that all of our courses are actually taught by specialists in the field. We have a specialist horticulture course run by our therapeutic horticulture coordinator. As mentioned before, we have our cafe program at Peppertree. And then we have some sort of niche courses that run after hours, a women's group, where the women get together and chat about, well, you can probably imagine, and the men's group, which has some equally robust conversations. I've only heard a few things here and there, but I can assure you no topic is considered out of bounds. We also have a very new group run by one of our speech therapists and social workers, which is our relationships course. That is a lot of information to take in, and I'm sure that you will all have questions later, which is perfectly fine. But I'm going to hand you over to Jane Marnie from Box Hill Institute to talk about our TAFE programs.
So, Anita, we don't teach vacuuming, but I quite like the idea of that. Maybe I should include that in our TAFE program. Anyway, thanks everyone for coming along. My name's Jane and I work for Box Hill Institute. I'm the coordinator of Disability Enterprises. So in essence, I look after the partnerships between Box Hill Institute and our disability service providers. We're very grateful to have a very solid and long-term relationship with Kevin Heinze Grow. Our model is a little different from other TAFEs in that we used to take direct entry students from everywhere. So young people and families who would inquire, and if the course was suitable for them, we would make up classes for those people. But we changed our model about 5 years ago to work more effectively and closely with disability service providers. So together, we can offer a very high level of support for the young people that come to do TAFE with us. So with that, we basically, with our partnership with Kevin Heinze Grow, they provide a support worker to come into our classes who can help the students to travel to TAFE and look after the core supports and manage behaviours and things like that, which leaves our teacher free to just focus on the education piece and really work on that adjustment that people need for having different challenges and things like that with their learning. So in our area, we run 3 programs. They're called the Certificate 1 in Transition Education, the Certificate 1 in Work Education, and the Certificate 2 in Work Education. I'm going to talk mostly about the Certificate 1 in Transition Education because with this program, it's more aimed at, I suppose, learning how to be an adult. It's more about building confidence for the students and developing their life skills so that they can basically live their best life in the community. So, we might be doing things to basically help them to understand what sort of options are out there for community activities, thinking about further study and employment, and then some of those sort of core skills that they need as they enter their adulthood. The course has quite a number of different units, things like the travel training, literacy and numeracy, your budgeting, talking about their goals for study and work, and also how they get more involved in their community. We keep our class sizes very small, and that allows there to be a high level of support for the student and for the teacher to focus on their different levels of ability. And also, we try to keep our environment fun and nurturing so that, they enjoy being with us and that they might progress onwards after having done transition education onto some of our other courses in work education. Now, you'll see that the course units are listed here. So some of the units, so develop personal goals of support. We teach students how to divide goals into smaller achievable steps and have a growth mindset. Exploring their self-development may be around respectful relationships, responsibility, self-improvement. With the travel training, they'll learn how to use the PTV app. Things like, what happens, if I'm in a difficult situation when I'm on public transport, what do I do in an emergency? Things like that. The literacy subject, it could be tips on what to do when I come across a tricky word. How do I express an opinion? Things like that. With the budgeting, that's quite a fun subject for them, because we'll do sort of really hands-on activities like give them money to count, and they have to have a number of activities where they have to plan for those activities with their money, make choices and decisions, perhaps revisit their decisions because they don't have enough money. They're given quite a high level of support for tasks like that. It might be about budgeting for lunch. We might be looking at shopping lists and grocery catalogues and things like that. So trying to make that really fun, using calculators, etc. We've done things like mock elections. Yeah, so we try to do quite a number of things to keep the content, really fresh and fun, and look at sort of things that happen in life that they'll need to know about. And obviously with our learning, we do quite a lot on Student Web, which is our online management system. So they're using, the same system as what anybody at Box Hill Institute uses it in any course. So they learn those things. Just got a few photos here for you. So the travel activities. Participating in the community. So what services are out there, what facilities, those sorts of things. So I wanted to also give you a little bit of feedback from some of our students, some of the things that they've said about the course that they've done with us at Box Hill Institute. And this is specifically in relation to the Certificate 1 in Transition Education. So things like learning to be on time, focusing, enjoying their maths and skills on money, working on Student Web. We love seeing that they think it's fun and that they're learning a lot and that they're seeing their friends. And I love that last comment, learning how to plan for things I want in my future. So with our course, usually we run 1 or 2 days a week. The courses could be on site at the disability service provider, so they might be on site at Kevin Heinze Grow, or they might be on our campus, just depending on what we've established at the beginning with Kevin Heinze Grow about how the program will best work based on the participants that have expressed interest. So that's normally how it works. I hope if you have any questions, you'll either pop those in the chat, or Anita can give you my details. I'm more than happy for anyone to contact me and have a chat with me about their own young person or any of the students themselves. If they want to call and ask any specific questions, I'm available for that. So thank you. I think it's back to you, Georgia. Okay, there's a question. It's, do the students complete in 1 year? They do. So the Transition Ed course is usually 1 year. And then they go on to Work Ed, which would be done over 1 year. And then the Work Education 2 is also done over 1 year.
Right. Thank you, Jane. I think that's it for questions for the moment.
Thank you, Georgia, and thanks, Jane. So yes, I, again, for those that perhaps weren't here at the beginning, I manage the clinical services at Kevin Heinze as well as some other programs. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you about clinical services. We offer a whole range of services through Kevin Heinze: occupational therapy, speech therapy, counselling, and art therapy. A very passionate, very involved therapeutic team. Basically, the way that any of those services are delivered at Kevin Heinze is using our garden space in a very creative, non-clinical way, which we find is far more well received. Feedback we get is that is a great sort of learning and developmental space. What really sort of seems to work exceptionally well and is possibly quite rare at other disability services is the collaboration between our clinicians and all other staff on site. So particular sessions that they might have therapeutically, goals that they are working on, particular tasks that they may be needing to practice will be fed back to the broader team, and so that all staff and anyone on site might be aware of those goals and can actually help practice those things, develop those things through someone's regular program throughout the week, so that it's not something that gets attended to once a week or once a fortnight where little development might be made. So we really pride ourselves on that integration of those therapeutic sort of modalities in everything that we do. And I think it actually helps the staff as well, the broader staff, really understand what might be going on for someone and how to really enhance their program more broadly. The sessions are individual and again, really focused on the individual, their goals from their NDIS plan, information from families is all integrated into those sessions as well. As previously mentioned, we have tertiary placement students in social work and occupational therapy, and what we're able to offer through them is I guess therapeutic enhancement, again, certain things that a person may be working on, we may be able to offer them additional sessions throughout the week to practice those things in a one-on-one fashion with someone who's particularly interested in that modality. And I think, ultimately what we hear from families is that the clinical services is really convenient. If someone is attending for a day anyway, to have one of those clinical services embedded in their weekly program or even daily program just means another less travel time or appointment times that has to be scheduled. So even from that perspective, I think we offer a very good service in that way. So yes, art therapy is one of our newer, I guess, offerings, and we have a wonderfully experienced art therapist, Erica, who's joined the team. She's had an awful lot of experience and has been sort of slowly increasing her participants that she sees on site. We see this as a really wonderful addition to our population, particularly for those that would perhaps traditionally struggle to engage in verbal-based therapies or counselling. It's a very non-threatening and engaging way of not only being creative and kind of touching on some things that might be going on, but a really in-depth way, I guess, to sort of be working on someone's mental well-being. So yeah, really happy to have that offered at the moment. So some of the other programs that I oversee are first off, the Grow on the Go program. So this is one of our vocational programs. It is a very purposeful garden maintenance program, so conducted predominantly off-site, although there is some sort of skill development that does occur on-site as well. The basic program, I guess, is about learning gardening skills. However, there's a lot more involved in the program. Traditionally, it was a 12-month program for 3 participants, as you can see in that photo. This year, we've actually sort of evolved that even further. So while we do still offer the 12-month program, we have also started to offer casual sessions. So for our broader team, it's an opportunity for people that might not be sure if garden maintenance is their thing. They may do a session once a fortnight where they actually go to, people in the community's gardens, work on real life gardens, have real interactions with customers. And again, what we've sort of started to introduce a little bit more into this program is to really focus on each of the participants' individual goals as we do the broader programs that we offer. So again, for someone, it might be learning how to mow a lawn really well, but for someone else, it might be about planning a job. It might be about, discussing with a customer their needs and really sort of those customer service skills. It might be following instructions in a garden safely and working in a team. So there's quite a lot that can be learnt in that program. And again, everyone who is involved has got a slightly different goal in that. We do hope to, focus on actual employment at the end of that. So part of what we're doing is also employment readiness skills and development throughout the program as well. And some of our previous 12-month participants have actually gone on to work in nurseries and traineeships in gardening as well. So it's been a very successful program so far and continuing to expand. The next one we'll talk about perhaps is our Grow Well program. So Grow Well is our youth-focused program. It is slightly flexible, but our age range tends to be about 8 to 14. It's a therapeutic program, so it is conducted by a social worker or counsellor. Like I said, one-on-one sessions with the children that are involved. Very, very individualised, predominantly focused outside again, but that could be, it could involve some gardening, but it could be, just really creative exploration out in the garden as well. The positives have been working on a whole range of things from, anxiety management, just developing feelings of belonging and confidence and all sorts of things, which, from feedback has been able to be translated into other settings that the child may have been struggling in previously. The teenage program is, I guess, also a bit of an extension from the Grow Well program. It's a small group program that we run after school hours on 2 afternoons a week at the moment. It really has been developed as an introduction to the broader program that we offer in the garden. It's predominantly for, teenagers ending the end of sort of high school and looking for what might be that next step. So really it's a taster. It's about saying, before I make that decision when I leave school and jump straight in, this is an opportunity to sort of, in a slightly smaller, slightly less intimidating fashion, have a look and experience of what Kevin Heinze has to offer. Similar aged people, the positives has been not only that introduction to gardening and our programs, but the socialisation and the connections that some of the teenagers have been able to form through that program. So that's been progressing really well. And finally, on my image, there is our Regrow group. So Regrow is predominantly for, tends to be slightly older individuals with an acquired brain injury or possibly early stage dementia. That we've just recently added a second group. Again, that can be a very creative group, bits of gardening, bits of, trivia together. It's a really strong social, safe place for people to come. It is, again, run by sort of OT or a speech therapist and counsellor. So it has quite a therapeutic overlay, I guess, but, very unintimidating and well received with that population.
Right, I'll quickly cover Grow Glenara. So this is a partnership that we've run with the City of Glenara over the last 3 years. It has been designed by Council, City of Glen Eira, and Kevin Heinze Grow to offer opportunities to young people living in Glen Eira with a disability. And specifically is one of our programs that more focuses on vocational pathways. Participants in that program are able to access our TAFE program, but also able to access a paid traineeship focusing on developing horticultural skills. The aim is that after a 12-month period, participants in that program will exit into other paid employment. And we've had some really good success with that recently. We have our most recent participant to exit the program has exited into a 3-year horticultural apprenticeship in the local government sector. So we're really happy about that. We're reaching probably the first 3-year cycle towards the end of that cycle of this particular program, and we're hopeful that will continue in the future. But the last couple of places in this cycle are still available. So if you know a young person that lives in the city of Glen Eira, or your young person lives in the city of Glen Eira, we'd love to speak to you about the potential to be involved in this program. Obviously, because of the vocational focus, we are looking at participants who are just about work ready or who might be able to be work ready in the next year or so with some more intensive support. But there are also opportunities to be involved in our other programs and potentially progress into the Grow Glen Eira program when the time is right. So that's just a little bit about Grow Glen Eira. And I will share my screen with our video.
Hello and welcome to Kevin Heinze Grow Doncaster. My name's Ruben and I'm going to take you on a tour of the site today. So let's go. This is where we do the morning meeting, just outside the marquee, and this is where we find out what we're going to be doing for the day. Welcome inside the Kevin Heinze building. This is our client services area. This is one of our client services people, Jess. This is the marquee at Kevin Heinze, and inside the marquee we do all sorts of activities. Probably the main one would be propagation and also potting up. So let's have a look inside the marquee. Where I'm standing right now is in the garden bed area. These garden beds are where participants can grow vegetables, plants, flowers, whatever they like. And it's an area where we all work and learn about garden maintenance. Okay, so this is one of our hot houses here at Doncaster. This is where the newly propagated plants go before they're ready to go to the holding bay and then to the nursery. Welcome to our rainforest area. Come on through. At Kevin Heinze Grow, we offer a range of clinical services. We offer counselling, speech therapy, and occupational therapy. This is our TheraHub, one of our clinical spaces. Right now is morning tea time. This is where we all sit together and have our morning tea together. It's a great opportunity to catch up and socialise. This is the nursery. We have lots of great plants and it's open to the public. One of the great things about the nursery is we get to practice our customer service skills. Thanks for coming along to see our Doncaster site. We hope you've enjoyed the tour.
Welcome to Peppertree Place. This is our cafe where participants prepare food and make coffee for our lovely customers. This is the nursery. This is our hothouse where we raise a lot of our plants from seed. This is one of our food growing areas. So some participants have plots in this area where they can grow their own food plants or flowers. So this is our potting shed. This is where we spend a lot of time potting up our plants and growing plants from seed. This is our mega garden. This is where the participants grow a lot of food plants that are used in the cafe. This is our spiral garden. And this area we grow a lot of flowers, we grow stock plants that we can propagate from the nursery, and we grow a lot of plants in this garden that are great for attracting pollinators.
There you go. Hope you enjoyed that tour around both our sites, and fabulous job, GT and team. It looks great. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Thank you. Thanks, Josh. Now we'll just pop back to Anita, and Anita's going to just step everybody through the sort of the what's next and the application process.
Okay, I know that this is actually what you've all been waiting for, because this is possibly the most important information of the evening. Actually, it's not. The most important information you have already had. It's really now time for you to have a bit of a think about whether you think your participant would like to come to Kevin Heinze. If you think they would, there are two ways to make initial contact. We have a contact form on our website, and you can see the website address there, and I'm sure that's in the information that Georgia has sent already. I'm making a big assumption there, Georgia. Yep. Or you can email the client services team directly on that email address, clientservices@kevinheinzegrow.org.au. We will then get in touch with you. One of the amazingly friendly client services team will give you a call and find out what you are most interested in. And they will send you some more information and also one of our application or referral forms. It's really important to complete that referral form, giving us as much detail as you possibly can. That gives us an idea of the needs and goals that your participant has. Start thinking about what we can offer. After you have returned a referral form, we usually organise an individual site tour. For school leavers, if you would like to just come and have a look around the site, you can see on your screen there that there are some dates where we have some group tours available. We've set some days aside, or I should say Josh has set some days aside where he's very happy to show people around. These tours must be booked in advance. We need to keep a fairly close eye on the numbers of people on site who we have on site and who they are. So if you would like to book a tour to come and have a look around with your participant or on your own, please contact Jackie at kevinheinzegrow.org.au and she will be able to help you with that. Once you've completed a referral form and had a site tour and a chat to a member of the client services team, we have another assessment to complete. That's usually completed by the coordinator of the client services team. It's usually done over the phone, and it does take about half an hour. It's very important that that actual assessment includes the people that know the participant the best, because this is where we get the nitty-gritty information. Hello, Puss. To help us to determine what sort of a program we can design, what sort of supports are needed for a participant. As Josh mentioned before, if you haven't got your NDIS plan already organised and you haven't got a support coordinator appointed, it's really important to start thinking about those things. If you need some help finding information, we can certainly help you there. Please don't hesitate to get in touch. For me, the most important email address that's on your screen there at the moment is the client services email. They can give you any and all information that you will need about applying for your participant to attend Kevin Heinze. Any information that you would like, drop them an email and they will get back to you as soon as they can. I think that's it, Georgia.
Yes. Okay, thanks, Anita. We've done our virtual tour. So I will soon ask everyone to unmute yourselves if you'd like to ask questions, but I just wanted to let everybody know that if you like our organisation, if you like the work that we do, please consider supporting us. We are a charity. You can visit our nurseries and buy our plants. You can visit our cafe. You can tell your friends and family that we exist and tell them about the great work that we do. You might like to consider providing a donation for us. So the NDIS covers our staff costs, which obviously are significant. But if we want to do anything around our grounds, and as Josh mentioned earlier, we do have significant facilities that we need to maintain and hopefully improve over time. Donations are very welcome. We would strongly encourage a small amount each month if you are in a position to be able to do so, and you would know that that money is going towards a really terrific cause that's making a big difference in a lot of people's lives. If one step further on from that, I'm not too shy to ask, it is my job. If you are in a position to make a will at some point and you would like to leave some of your estate to a great cause like Kevin Heinze, then we have a program set up. That's our Gifts in Wills program. And if you are, or you know anyone else who may be interested, please don't hesitate to get in touch and have a confidential chat with myself. You can have a look at our website. Pretty much everything that you've heard about tonight will be on there somewhere. Look, there is a lot of information on our website, so it takes a little practice to navigate your way around there, but hopefully you will find what you need. And if you can't, please just get in touch with us. Probably the best way is via the client services email. If anyone would like to ask a question of anyone who's spoken tonight, please, now is your chance to do so. And if you're not happy to just unmute yourself and yell it out, which is absolutely fine to do, just pop it into the chat and we'll monitor the chat and see if anyone would like to ask a question. Yes.
Hi, Georgia. It's Karen from Eastern Ranges School. How are you?
Hi, Karen. Good, thank you.
A very good friend of Kevin Heinze. You've supported our students beautifully over the last few years. I'm always asking the question, is there capacity for next year for new participants?
So over to you, Anita.
Yes, Karen, yes, there is capacity. As you know, capacity is limited. We do cap our numbers, but we do have capacity on most days for people in the core program, and we have capacity, I would say, on most days at the moment for participants who require one-to-one support on both sites. Yeah, I won't say we have a huge amount of capacity, but we do have capacity. But if people are really interested, I would suggest people start getting those forms in and making inquiries now.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Karen.
Hi.
Oh,
And
Katie, hi.
hi, Georgia. Nice to see you. Yeah. So I just wanted to check because I've put in an expression of interest. We're bouncing off each other here. Quite a while ago, but it's the first time I've heard about an actual form to put in terms of, say, the the post-school programs. Yeah. So I just go about that now then, I guess. Yeah, I've sort of quite often indicated, yeah, look, we're really interested.
Katie, because Lachlan is already a client, it'll be a much easier progress for you. So if you are interested in progressing an application for next year, we can certainly get the ball rolling on that for you. Not a problem. I'll make a note of that and get one of the team to contact you.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. That's great.
No worries.
Can I also ask then a little bit more about how the interaction between the TAFE programs there, Jane, and then on site? You were saying, sometimes it might be, how does that all work out? And I guess the practicalities of that and how much is, say, at Box Hill versus how much is Kevin Heinze, and how you kind of meld those two programs together.
Jane, would you like me to answer that? I'll answer that too. And Katie, also, please be aware that you can contact Jane directly. I can also send you her information as well. With the Transition Ed course, because it's the first course in the program, we usually start holding that on site at Kevin Heinze. It's usually 2 days a week, and it can be, so we usually start on site at Kevin Heinze probably for term 1. Depending on the participants in the program, we then may move to Box Hill for one of those days. And when we do that, we start with travel training. So we start where participants can have the option of meeting a support worker at Kevin Heinze and then catching the bus down to Box Hill. And again, depending on the individual participant and how they are developing, some participants go straight there and meet the group when they get there. Whichever way it happens, there is always at least one Kevin Heinze staff member with the group at all times. Some participants have individual support workers as well. And then we have the Box Hill staff member who actually facilitates and teaches the course. So Jane and I are in constant communication about the individual classes to make sure that the experience meets the needs of the participants in the class for that year. So if that's something that Lockie's interested in, we can certainly talk about it.
And Anita, we've often had a hybrid experience, haven't we?
Yes, yeah.
Some of the classes have had, a term on TAFE or, a number of terms on TAFE and some at KHG. And we really do love having them to campus. And it's so exciting for them to just be with everybody else doing what young people do. Like, that's what they should be doing. They should be in the cafe and hanging out with their friends and just experiencing all the delights of it. But, having that sort of soft landing of being able to start at KHG is really good. Like, we really do try to transition them.
There is a question in the chat, which is, can the program be customised like once a week with OT embedded within the gardening program for a school leaver? So I would say the answer to that is yes.
Yes.
Certainly that's the way it operates exactly for a number of our clients. So that's definitely a yes. And is there any opportunity to do a Cert 1 or 2 horticulture course whilst at KHG?
No. Karen, Work Ed 2 is Work Ed 2 in horticulture. So the focus in the Certificate 2 in work education is horticulture, but beyond that, at the moment, we're not running any other horticulture courses.
But
Can I just chime in there too?
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry,
go, Jane.
Georgia. Just with the, there are 4 horticulture units from Certificate 2 in horticulture embedded in the Certificate 2 Work Ed program, along with those skills for teaching them, you know, how to operate in a working environment.
Thanks, Jane. That's really good to know, because some of our students have done selected units of Cert 2 horticulture whilst at school. So that's always a good one for parents to know, that they could possibly, you know, finish off their course or add more units of competency to what they've already got. Thanks.
I just wanted to add that we also have the specialist horticulture course through ACFI. So that's another opportunity for participants. It's obviously not the TAFE certificate courses, but it is a bit more of a deep dive into the skills and the understanding of horticulture for those that are interested.
Sorry, Anita. Sorry, Georgia. Who's that through?
It's run through ourselves. So our coordinator of therapeutic horticulture, who's our specialist in that area, is actually running a course that's funded through ACFI. So
that's the
it's
adult community and further education arm of the Department of Education, Karen.
Okay, thank you.
Anita. Yeah.
Can I ask too, you said Kevin Heinze has their own support workers. I think you said one, and it can be for all abilities, whether they need 1-to-1 support or 1-to-3 support ratio. Yeah. I think you also said you can also, if you've got your own support worker, you know, they can also attend, can they? Or and then maybe bring the young person there and bring them home again, I guess, if you've got
some of our participants who require 1-to-1 support already have support workers who they're very familiar with, and the family wants them to continue excuse me, with their own support worker. That's fine. Obviously we don't charge for 1-to-1 support when a participant comes with their own support worker, so the fees are reduced. The only thing is that we insist on all support workers who come on site, whether they be ours or externals, they need to have the same compliance checks as all of our staff. So that means that any support worker on site is compliant. That means they have a working with children check, a separate police check, they've done the NDIS worker screening check, and they are fully vaccinated according to the government guidelines. We have a mixture of both on site every day.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming along, and please do get in touch if we can be of further assistance. Thank you.